to describe the characteristics of a variable. You may be science, arts, engineering, whatever it is. Right? Generally, we are gathering the data. Okay. So after gathering the data, right? But how to analyze the data? The analysis is very, very important, right? So compulsory. Suppose if you want to publish a data in a reputed articles, journals, or in your project work, right? So you have to justify or you have to prove a descriptive mode to the numerical mode. You have to prove. So descriptives is a theory that theoretical aspects you can prove in a numerical way, but how can we prove? How can we apply our statistical tools and techniques to analyze the right? So first and foremost, before going to descriptive statistics, right, we have to go for measurement and scaling techniques. Right? So in your experiment or in your project work, what kind of variables you are analyzing, right? So generally we have 4 types of variables we are gathering. That is nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio type of data we are gathering, right? For example, you see in the chemistry people, right, optical density and concentration of ethanol. So they are gathering some values, right? In botany people, height and length of one particular breed of tree or whatever it is. Next, you see in the geology people, right? Marine living resources people, they are doing research on some fish culture. So what is the length, breadth, height of a fish? So they are growing the fish culture in different ponds. One is fresh water, one is salt water, one is plain water. The fish culture is, right? So which water is increases height, weight and breadth. So they are going to analyze these kind of data. So here the descriptive statistics means descriptive statistics are numerical and graphical methods used to summarize data and bring forth the underlying information. So if you want to draw any information, right, we have to apply some. For example, you see heartbeat per minute 72. We know that, right? A common healthy man heartbeat pulse rate per minute is 72. It is a average value, but it is generalized to the whole population. So actually, where it's the heartbeat pulse rate per minute. Okay, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, USA, Japan, where it beats, right? Anywhere it beats 72, right? So now you see what is the total population of in the universe. Then post population is there. Okay, but a single value gives to the whole population characteristic. So that's why a descriptive statistics provides to analyze and describe the characteristic of a variable, right? So that the characteristic of a variable, if you want to study, first and foremost, we go to measurement and scaling techniques in the data analysis. For example, you see average height of a or average height of a person's height of a person's. Which test will which suppose average means the averages are mean, median, mode, geometric mean, and harmonic mean. But among all these, which one you are going to apply? Okay. For example, gender. Right? Gender is variable values are only male and female. Okay. But among all these 5 measures, which measure you are going to apply? If the data is in order, ranking data, which data you are going to apply? If the data is in a ratio, so which two statistical tools, appropriate tools you are going to select? Right? So that is the descriptive statistics is depending on measurement and scaling techniques. That is variable characteristics. First you study variable types. So generally in the descriptive statistics, we are covering measure of central tendency, measure of dispersion, and measure of shapes. In the measure of central tendency, we are covering really mean, mode, geometric mean, and harmonic mean. In the measure of dispersion, range, mean deviation, standard deviation, total deviation, percentiles. Right? So these we are covering. Measure of shapes, skewness and assets. So first and foremost, what is measurement and scaling techniques? Data is generally the backbone of statistics is a data. Daily we are generating lots of data. It requires suitable statistical tools and techniques. For example, you see in a banking sector, right? It is a huge financial sector, right? So I want to know how many loan defaulters, how many customers are credit card defaulters, right? So may sanction lose to the persons. What is the analysis? Okay. So at present, but previously in the banking sector, main is sanctioning. After taking the customer inputs, now we are entering the data in the system. Right? The bank are entering the data of the customers. The system it says whether how much of, first of all, we have to check the loan or not. Then, if we sanction how much of that, how much of loan we should sanction, right? Everything is computerized. Now, but how it gives the data, right? It is depending on the data analysis, right? So, in our department, so many researchers are approaching me, are approaching the statisticians. So I collected this type of data. So how can I analyze the data? Okay. So generally, geology people are approaching, right? Biochemistry, meteorology, meteorology and oceanography department. They are studying climate, Okay. So generally, you see, depending on the wind speed, wind direction, so many variables influence is there. Right? Temperature is available, but that temperature who gives, you be sitting and analyze and develop mathematical models. Computer, we're using the computer technology and writing a program. So automatically it uses data. Oh, no, my screen is shared. Just a moment, I'm checking my screen. See, no screen share. Just a moment. Oh, here is the share option. Just I'm sharing my PPT. Or I shared. Dear students, my PPT is shared. You are sharing your screen. Dear students, respond. My screen is sharing. Hello. My screen is shared. Hello.
Sir, it's not visible, sir.
Dear students, my screen is sharing. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
My screen is shared.
Yes, sir. It is shared, sir.
Yeah. Okay, I'm continuing. Right. So my scholar is saying that the screen is not shared. Okay. Right. Just a moment. Okay. Right. So now you see. Okay. Now I'm explaining measurement and scaling techniques. Right. So any kind of, but now, dear students, my screen is shared. I show the performance.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. So today class is important. Why means the basic analysis I'm going to explain. Okay. So now you see, suppose what type of variables we are gathering the data. Okay. Suppose this is a one variable, the performance of a teacher. Generally, we are giving feedback forms. Right? The performance is excellent, good. Here, performance is a variable. You are collecting the data, right? Any one of these fours. This is one type of data. Now you see, okay, for the teacher performance appraisal. Just a moment. This is how can I minimize. Okay, so teacher performance appraisal statistics. So the teacher performance, right, is depending on the type of the content, the way of explanation, and the assessment. But how we analyze the data, right? Just now, my intention is I am going to show some case studies. These are all some case studies. For example, in the management, people are using, right? You see, gender is a variable, brand A, B, C. Okay. So even though we are analyzing the data, generally which brand people may select, A, B, C, and also generalize which brand the people may select. Okay. This is one kind of data set. Now you see, this is. Okay. This is visualization statistics, right? Here two types of exercises are there. One is gym exercise, the other one is yoga. Okay, so for heartbeat pulse rate, now I want to study. You see, this is the data I am showing. Control group means without exercise. This is gym exercise and this is yoga exercise. Okay, the values are heartbeat pulse rate are recorded. So which one is better? Right? Without exercise is better, or gym is better, or yoga is better for consistency of heartbeat pulse rate. So how can we analyze? Right? What is the mean response of these three groups? And also what is the male and females of heartbeat pulse rates? So which kind of exercise we have to do for heartbeat pulse rate? This is one kind of exercise. This is also a live exercise. Okay, project right? So our food and nutrition department is there in our campus. So they prepared one drink. Okay, so the drink supplied to the different types of sports persons and male and female. But as an investigator or as a researcher, first and foremost, we have to identify variables and factors. What is a variable and what is a factor? Okay. So this food and nutrition department, their main motto is they prepared one drink, that drink supplied to the different types of sports persons. Right. So their aim is, their objective is that drink may produce same kind of energy to all the sports persons or not. Now you see, these are all the variables, right? So energy, protein, fat, CHO, calcium, iron, vitamin, cholesterol, these are all variables. But sports type and gender are the factors. So the energy, if the consume the drink, right, it produces the energy, you see, 2912 energy. The protein it produces 81. Fat produces, right? So they studied 200, 300 sports persons. So what is average energy of cocoa it gives? The running, volleyball, basketball, hockey. right? So my intention or my research objective is my drink produces same energy, same protein, same fat to the all the sports persons or not, and also a male wise, female and males, the energy levels are getting same or not. How can I analyze this kind of data, right? So given the to the department, they said, sir, your analysis says one direction, our descriptive, theoretical says one direction, right? So your analysis was wrong. They said like this, but I'm sorry, we are wrong. They given the force all the 5 types of persons. They recorded the data separately, volleyball, hockey, basketball with different points. Variable, one more factor. That factor is age. You see, the energy is depending on what? Right? So, age is under 11 category. The age is under 11, under 15, under 18, under 21, under 25. Okay. So, they mix up all the data. Okay. So, sometimes, right, the data may not give good results. So the factor influence also, as a researcher, you have to analyze. So classification of age, again we performed a data analysis, right, and give it to the department, then they satisfied. So this is how one case study, right? So here what my intention is, sports type is a factor, gender is a factor. So this energy 2912 is depending on sports, and is also depending on male or female, and also it is depending on age categories. See, so these variables. So energy, protein, fat are the variables. Gender, always these factors to the variables, energy, protein, fat, stage, right? So same thing is here, you see. So my intention is, as a investigator or as a researcher or as a projector, you have to identify variables and factors, and now you see in this data, right? This is our Visakhapatnam Cancer Hospital is there at MVP, right? So they collected the patients. But this is second-hand smoke, active smokers, right? So second-hand is what right, involuntary smoke and the passive smoke. So this is the smoke given of the smoke except by a smoker. And also you see, chemicals in smoke are known to cause cancer. 69 seconds, but not directly those who consume tobacco, cigars, maturities, but directly, but indirectly, 69 chemicals in second hand smoke are known to cause cancer. But how to analyze the data? So second hand smoke causes lung cancer in non-smokers. Smoke also be associated with heart disease in adults and sudden infant death syndrome, ear infections, and asthma attacks. Right? Due to cooking gas, if we inhale, it also causes to the cancer. Frequently, you are inhaling. Okay, that's why there is no safe level of exposure to second-hand smoke. But how can you analyze this data? So they gathered the variables and factors. Now you see, this is a grade, right? Grade in the sense the cancer patients, their stages is mild, severe, moderate, poor, well. Then they taken as a gender, male, female. Then taken as a habit of, right? So it is habit is cigarette, smokeless tobacco, chutta. Okay, some different types of habits are there. That means cancer, it is a tail length and age. So you see. So if you want to apply descriptive statistics, right? Which type of statistical tool you are going to apply? Suppose you see in the measure of central tendency, a mean, harmonic mean, right? Which measure you are performing? For example, grade. Grade is ordinal data. You see, mild, severe, moderate, poor. This is an order. But which kind of tool you are going to apply? Gender is a nominal type. Gender in the sense their values are names, male and female. Habits. Tail length you see is a measure. 37, 65, 52, 60, numbers. Measurable values to what type of tools you are applying. Yes. Right? So this is my intention. Right? So in the measurement and scaling techniques, what kind of tools you are applying for what kind of or what type of variables, right? So now you see, this is in a chemical trials data, right? So in the chemical trials, what a manufacturer of bar soap wishes to compare the rates at which 3 types of soap dissolve in water. Okay. So the soaps are 3 different types of soaps they taken: regular, deodorant, and moisturizer. Right? Okay. So this is you see. So what they doing? A one tube was carved out of each bar of soap and weighted. Okay. So each bar just to take 50 grams, 50 grams, 50 grams. Okay. The soap cubes were soaked overnight in water, each cube in a separate container. Then all cubes, right, re-weighted following soaking. So after soaking, again they weighted. Okay, the weights are like this. For example, 100 grams soap is taken, they soaked into the 3 different cubes. Okay, after overnight soaking, they weighted the weights like this. Soap is dissolving more in the water. Right? We have to find out. This is one type of experiment. Clinical trials or drug design. Hypertension, BP, sugar. Okay. In the market, you see, right? Different companies are available. Right? For example, blood pressure. systolic blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure is there. So one blood pressure should be 120, but you test the persons, it may not be 120, either more or less. 120. So patients are using the types of three different types of drugs, drug A, B, C. So which drug, right, to prefer? Which drug to prefer? Yeah. Or which drug performance is better, or which drug is a consistency? But not only the three different types of drug, which drug to prepare. So then you can see the males and females. These three drugs for, right, gender wise or sex wise, and also the age, young age and middle age and old age people. This is also one type of case study. How we analyze this type of data, right? So these are all just showing data sets, how to analyze. So you see temperature and water consumption. If temperature is increasing, what is water consumption? Water consumption is also increasing in this data. Okay, but now we want to estimate. Water temperature is 105. What is water consumption? You can estimate, right? So that estimation is, right, if you want to estimate, we have to apply some statistical tools and techniques. For example, you go for mathematical models. One more drug A, drug B. Which drug you are going to select? Okay. Before training and after training. Right here, the training effect is there or not. Suppose you see people are doing exercises or taking treatment. Before treatment, after treatment, weight loss is there or not. Okay, so before treatment, the data, after treatment is data. Really, the treatment effect is there or not? If you want to take a decision, not by simply observing the values, you have to apply some tools and techniques. At least a minimum basic statistical tool. You find out the two means, before mean and after mean. Let's see the difference, whether it is improvement is there or not. Right. So now this is one kind of data. You see, now I'm showing different types of data sets. This is also okay. So that means what? Right. This is one more data set. You see. Okay. Suppose the performance of supervisors in a large financial organization. Right. So the performance of a supervisor is good or not? He is able to run or he is able to supervise the organization, in good way or not? So it is depending on so many variables you see. So measurement of effectiveness of supervisor is a dependent variable, right? This dependent variable is depending on all the independent variables. So may I continue the supervisor or not? So every year, suppose I want to give renewal of an employee, it is depending on his activity. Activity is depending on handles employee complaints, does not allow special privileges, opportunity to learn new things, rises based on performance, too critical, poor performance, rate of advancing to better. So based on these variables, right, I am going to continue the supervisor or not, or may I recruit a new supervisor? You see, the policy decisions is depending on the data analysis. So you can fit for multiple linear regression model. Which variable, independent variable influence is also there or not, we are going to study. This is one more, right? So these are all just different types of data sets. Just I am showing. Right? Now I am going to main content. This is also, you see, right? Different tabular forms. And then the data is a qualitative and quantitative. You see, this is involved all types of data. The first one is serial number, the rank order of a data, right? But this is urban, rural, this is a labels. Gender is also label, but age, height, weight, BMI, some measurable data, right? But how can we analyze? Right? What is the BMI, body mass index? Is there any gender impact on BMI? How can we analyze? Right? So these are all depending on type of variables. Now you see our right. So statistical applications are using in all these fields, but I given only a limited fields in all the field, in all the area. Statistical tools and techniques are used for analyze the data. Hello. Right. Hello. What, Babu? Is it clear? My voice is clear?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Yeah. Slides are sharing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sure, sir.
PPT. Yeah. Okay, nice. Good. So now I'm going to discuss, but up to I shown some case studies, right? Different types of variables and factors. Now how to recognize, right? This is a nominal data, this is ordinal data, this is interval data, this is ratio type of data, right? So the measurement and scaling techniques is to collect data, we need to have something to measure. The measurement is the process of assigning numbers or other symbols to characteristics or attributes. Characteristic means gender is a variable, right? Two categories are there, male and female. Age is a variable, right? The values are 21, 22, 23, 24, right? Income group is a variable, right? It attributes its characteristics is middle income group, lower income group, and higher income group. Okay. What is the percentage of middle income, lower income, and higher income group in the society? What is the average? What is the percentage of males and females in a class? Right? What is the average age? This type of analysis required, right? You can identify variable types, right? So now, just right now you see, generally we have in the measurement scaling techniques 4 types of variables are there. One is nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Okay. Nominal scale in the sense variable values are names. Variable values are names. There are red, green, yellow, brown. These are all labels. Gender, you take it as gender is a variable. Its values are male, female. Right? So this kind of variable is nominal. Hottest. Hottest is less than hotter. Hotter is less than hottest. For example, groups. Lower income, middle income, higher income. Lower income is the of rankings. You see your marks, A grade, B grade, C grade, outstanding. That type of data, you take it as ordinal scale. Okay. But the interval scale again classified into, right, discrete and continuous. Discrete is direct your age 21, 22, 23, 24 like that. Continuous 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 30 to 40. That type of data it has an interval scale. But ratio scale, right? So out of 24 hours, how many hours sleeping? Out of 24 hours, how many hours you are spending with your smartphone? Out of 80 marks, what is your marks? 60 by 80, 20 by 80. So that type of data, right? So here what, right? So we have to decide as a analyst, variable type to type, statistical applications are different. For example, in the case of nominal scale, okay, you go for mode. Here you see which color people prefer. For example, the average color, right? Mode means most frequent value. In color, blue is our mode. Why means number of frequencies are more 4, red is 3. So mode we can apply, but it is not possible to apply mean. Mean means we are applying arithmetic operations. But in the case of nominal, it is not possible to apply arithmetic logical operations. Right? So arithmetical operator in the sense we are going to apply addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Right? In the formula just we are applying. Right? Logical in the sense less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, or equal to, and or. And these are all we are applying in logical operators. But for analyzing the variable type of nominal scale, right, it is not possible to apply arithmetic and logical operators. Okay, but you see, whereas in ordinal scale, okay, so we can apply in the ordinal scale, we can apply, right? So less than, right? Right? Then greater than, equal to. Okay, now you see hot and hot. Hottest is greater than or hot. That means what? Here we are applying logical operators. But here, in the case of nominal, we are not applying, right, any arithmetic and logical operators. Nominal in the sense only percentages you can apply. Suppose gender is a male and female. What is the total number of males and total number of females? Count you can apply. And also percentages. Mode. Which category frequency is highest? Right? So, but in case of interval data, right? Apply arithmetical operators. You can apply arithmetical operators. The arithmetical operators are right, plus, minus, right? So multiplication and divisions can apply, right? For example, average age, you take it. This is, right? The age values are 21, 22, right? 21, 24. Now I want to find out the age of these. Find out the average is 21 plus 22 plus 21 plus divided by 4. So you will get an average. That means for this type of data, we are applying arithmetical operators. Right? The ratio scale is also we are applying arithmetic and logical operators. So this is how we identify. this is a nominal and this is ordinal, this is interval and this is ratio. Simply in the nominal, variable values are names. Ordinal, variable values are, it follows some order, some preferences. Data is a measurable data. Whereas a height is measured in centimeters, age is measured in years, weight is measured in kilos. That type of data, you go for interval scale. Ratio scale is also 7 feet, 6 feet, what is your height? So that type of data, you go for ratio scales. Now discuss what is a nominal. In the nominal, right, what type of statistical analysis you can perform. So first and foremost, classify the data according to a category only categories, males and females. So which color prefer people select? Generally, people, which color is select? Blue. Based on how you say that blue, the percentage is very high. See, blue percentage is 40%. And also it is 4 times repeated. Right? So next thing is color differ qualitative, not quantitative. Okay, not quantitative. Measure. Right? Now, a number could be assigned to each color, but it would not have any value. Okay. Suppose you see blue, red, green, yellow. I am giving one example. Cricket players, right? Their numbers are there, right? But is it gives any meaning? No. Only based on their performance, they are taking average performance, not their labels. The label won't give any correct. Like your identity numbers, roll number. You see, first roll number, last roll number. Right? Can you say that the first roll number is 1, the last roll number is 48, right? But number wise, 48 is greater than, but roll number 1 is equal to is only it is identification purpose, not for comparison purpose. But your ranks plays an important. Your ranks is there, some preference is there, but when compared to roll number, there is no. Roll numbers is like a labels in the nominal data, right? So the number serves only to identify the color. No assumption made that any color has more or less. That means we are not applying logical operators, right? So this is nominal, means only no order or distant relationship, no arithmetic origin, only count numbers in categories. So simply I am showing one slide show. You get very easy. This is right. You see how you identify whether it is a ratio type of a variable, right? First of all, what is a variable? Variable in the sense, the variable it gives a characteristic of a data. Gender is a variable, it gives males and females. Height is a variable, it gives right feet. Age is a variable, it gives years. Weight is a variable, it gives kgs. Okay. Income group is a variable, it gives lower income, middle income, higher income. So this is why this is a variable. So we are going to perform the analysis is also. If you want to perform a mean, median, mode, standard deviation, correlation, regression, chi-square. So whether you are going to apply univariate, bivariate, multivariate analysis, it's required to identify types of a variable. So nominal in the sense, you see the simple example, here I assigned, right, numbers to the runners. Right? Only this is 4 is label. Runner number is 4. The number is 81. This runner number is 9. Is 81 is greater than 4? No. Or 4 is less than No, this is only identification purpose. Number 4 is runner. 81 is second person. Right? Suppose average performance of this means you don't add 4 plus 81 plus 9. Right? So only this is identification purpose is a nominal. But same these numbers, now you see ordinal and of winners. Right? So he got third place, he got second place, he got first place. Right? So he got the first, second, third, right? The performance, right? The third person, the performance is 8.2. Okay. The second performance is 9.1. The first performance is 9.6. So here you see some preference is there. This is 8.2, 9.1, 9.6. 9.6. Example, time. Example, time. 8.2 seconds, 9.1 seconds, 8.6 seconds. That's why first place, second place, third place. So ordinal data. Right? So interval data, this is ordinal data, first, second, third. But interval data means you see performance rating on a 0 to 10 point scale. So out of 0 to 10, you perform like a rating, 5-star rating. Here 10-star rating is there. Some points is also given. I given here the rating is the first person is 8.2, second 9.1, 9.6. So out of 10 I given these values. This is a like interval data. But ratio type of data, right? These three runners actually to finish the data is time to finish in 20 seconds. But 40% taken as 15.2 seconds. 60% is taken as 0.1 seconds finish. Labels, we are going to apply the techniques are I'm giving only limited applications for the space constraint. So percentages. Suppose in your class, how many members of males and females? In the total campus, what the male and females percentage? Right. So in your statistics department, female percentage is very high. Right. Maybe 25% of females, only 25% of males. So this kind of data analysis is giving. So you go for percentage. But what is the mode? Which is highest? Right? The mode is females. Right? Why means female category is highest. Means if our statistics are of two kinds, descriptive and inferential statistics. If it is inferential statistics, you go for chi-square test, right? So binomial test. Suppose you go to the bank. Suppose in our campus, State Bank, other banks are there. So which bank is satisfied? Binomial means the satisfaction levels of two categories, satisfied or not satisfied. So you can apply binomial test analysis. So this is nominal scale. But in the case of ordinal scale, data is in a form of a rankings, some order. So what kind of statistical tools we are going to perform? See, percentage, median. Median in the sense arrange the data in a systematic order. You pick up the middle one. Rank correlations. Suppose if the data is in interval, right? So you can apply range, mean, standard deviation, correlation, t-test, ANOVA, regression, right? Analysis. Right? The data is in a ratio scale. Ratio in the sense Already I told you. Out of 7 feet, what is your height? 6.5 by 7, 4.5 by 7. So this kind of data we are going to apply, but our statistical tools are this, right? So these are all variable types and statistical applications we are going to apply, right? So in the next classes, right, I'm going to take the data analysis by using Excel, data analysis by using SPSS packages. If you want to analyze any kind of data, you should know the variable types. Okay, but and also the entire statistics is classified into two groups: descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Right? So in the descriptive statistics, if the data is nominal, we go for percentage mode. If the data is nominal, if it is inferential statistics, chi-square and binomial. Right? So at the time of testing of hypothesis, we can explain what is descriptive and what is inferential statistics. Data is ordinal, that is interval, that is ratio. This kind of analysis is using now. Right? So in the descriptive statistics, right? So what is a types of variables already I discussed. So one of the first steps in deciding which statistical test to use is determining what kinds of variables you have. What kind of variables? Suppose after completion of your PG, you are working in any organization, any sector. There may be whether it is financial sector, okay, social sector, service sector, economic sector, okay, health sector, right? For example, in the case of drug design, in that drug design, okay, what kind of statistical tools you are going to apply? In the case of people, what kind of variables they are? How can you analyze the data? Right? So variables are of numeric and categorical. Numeric in the sense continuous and discrete. Already I told you, continuous in the sense direct your age, your height, your income, your weight. Okay, but that continuous in the sense 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50 is a continuous. Discrete is direct numbers. Your age is 20, 21, 21.5, 22.6. This is discrete. Ratio, all I told you, right? 20 by 30. Okay, your marks is out of 80. What is your marks? 75 by 80. Like that is a ratio. Then categories in the sense ordinal data and nominal data are a categorical data. So our statistical applications are different from type to type. Numerical is different statistical application, categorical data different statistical application. This is what I shown here, right? So nominal ordinal is a what? Categorical data. Numeric in the sense, you see, interval and ratio are the numerical. What type of data tools we are going to apply for data analysis, right? So these are all the classification, right? So interval data means direct values. Your height, 6 feet, 7 feet, like that. Your time, your age, temperature, rupees in interval data, right? So this is what gender, male, female, hair color, black, brown, white is a nominal data. Breed of a dog, religion, seasons. Okay, but this is what, which type of data? This is just to observe some order is there. So that is ordinal type of data. Academic grades, Okay, A grade, B grade, C grade, outstanding, attitude, good, worse, bad, status, low, medium, high, free size, small, big, preferences. So these are all ordinal type of. This is ratio. Almost interval and ratio may be same. Okay. For after identifying this type of variables, next properties of a variable. It is very, very, very important. Okay. It is not possible to apply statistical tools and techniques directly to the collected data. Directly to the collected data. Suppose you see the first year or in a final year students, what is an average age? Right? Maybe 21, 22, 23. In between, the average age is 20 or 22.5. You may get it. Why means you are all belongs to one age group. Right? So on an average, the first year students in the campus is 22.5. See, you can say that, but you can't say what is the average age of, okay, number of persons in the campus, including teaching and non-teaching and students. Can we take it? No. Right? Why means the values are values to values, the gap is very huge gap is there. Students is different, employees is different. You mix all these values and perform arithmetic mean, right? The analysis is failed. The analysis is failed. That's why we have to take, right, proper. You see in this image, I conduct competition between these. One is sumo is one variable. Here the child is another variable. This is X and this is Y. May I conduct the competition between these two groups? You can conduct, but properties are different. Their height is different, their weight is different, their age is different. How can you perform the analysis? Right? So this analysis is depending on line property. Line means linearity, right? Independency, normality, and equality. Okay? Linearity in the sense your values, you draw a graph, right? The graph should be a linear, right? Suppose you see linear in the sense this is. Suppose you take age. Almost the age may be like this. Okay, the age may be like this. It's a linear. Non-linear in the sense, okay, you take this age and y-axis, right? So non-linear means suppose the age, it is very gap like this. You see, like this, right? So the difference is very small. For this kind of data, we have to take care to analyze the data. Simple, it is not possible to apply mean, median, mode directly. We have to observe the data. For this kind of data, right, it is a linear. So again, the statistical applications are linear is one application. So violation of this property, another applications are there. So independency, the observation should be independent. Right? If observations are dependent, some other statistical tools and techniques were applied. The data is a normality. Right? If violation of this property, we are applying different types of statistical tools. Right? Equality for variances. If variances are not equal, we go for another statistical tools and techniques we are going to apply. So that's why what? So the mean is the best to understand the characteristics. Again, the characteristic variables are independent variables dependent variables and interdependent variables. Okay, so independent variables in the sense, you see, the heartbeat, pulse rate of males and females are independent. Maybe sometimes it may be dependent. Okay, but you see, height and weight of males and females, both are independent. But dependent variable, how you identify? For example, income and expenditure. Expenditure is depending on income, right? Income and savings. Saving is depending on income. Dose and response. Patient response is depending on, right, giving the dose. Right, interdependent. Demand and price. Yeah. So these are all, right? The variables are independent, dependent, and interdependent. Independent, income, dose. Dependent variables, savings, response. Demand and price, right? So these are all variable properties. After observing these 4 properties, again you have to select the statistical tools and techniques. But this is the main important. What is the role of an investigator? So for investigating as a researcher, so you are doing a project. First and foremost, what is the role of an investigator or a researcher is first and foremost to collect data. So what type of data you are going to collect for your project? What type of data you are gathering? Geography, what type of data you are collecting? Botany people, right? Marine living resources people, statistics people, mathematics people. What type of data you are going to collect, right? So already I explained to you 4 types of data you are collecting on marginal interval ratio. So type to type you have to decide statistical tools and techniques. After collecting the data, the next thing is what? Presentation of the collected data. Right? So presentation of collected data. So how you present your collected data? So your data may be present in a form of a tabular tables or in a form of a diagrammatic and graphical representation, in a form of in a descriptive mode or in a form of a inferential mode, inferential statistics. So which kind of presentation you are going to apply? You have to decide in advance, right? In advance of your project, you have to decide. Next, analysis and interpretation of the results. It is very, very, very important. Data maybe anyone may collect, but the presentation and data analysis, right? Only those who knows the basic knowledge on statistical applications, right? How to interpret of the results is very, very, very important. Our statistical number speaks to you. Statistical numbers speaks to you. Okay, how our statistical numbers speaks to you? Just simple one. I will explain one. So suppose you see this is a 0.80. This is a fraction number. Is it gives any meaning? No. Right? So this is minus 0.40. Right? This is a negative fraction numbers. Okay? Or any one value. I am taking only 21. It's simply a number. But there is no meaning. Right? If these numbers are statistical numbers, it is your number. Your number speaks to you. For example, the correlation, one application is there in our statistics. Correlation means to study the relationship between any 2 variables. It is denoted as R. So R is, the correlation is 0.80. What it says? It is a single number. but it gives one paragraph information. In the text-wise, a paragraph information it gives. Right? So R is 0.80 means correlation between the two variables. That means to study the relationship between concentration of ethanol and optical density. Right? To study the relationship between height and weight of a plant, height and weight of a fish in the fish culture. To study the relationship between demand and price. Right? So here the relationship is plus in the sense positive relationship. That means one variable is increasing, another variable is also increasing. So this number gives what? Positive relation means height is increasing, weight is also increasing. Concentration of ethanol is increasing, optical density is also increasing. That is correlation says that. So negative in the sense one variable is increasing, another variable is decreasing. Right? Like demand and price. Generally price is increasing, demand is decreasing. Right? It is a negative relationship. Now you see if relationship is there, how much percentage relationship is there between height and weight, between demand and price. So that kind of data, how we analyze is very, very important. Now, making decisions on the basis of such analysis, right? Now, decide which information to gather as a role of research investigator. You should know all these things. Next what? Find patterns in collected data and make the best summary description of the population and associated problems. So make the best summary description of your research project. Right? So this is the role of investigator or a researcher. So you are all going to submit shortly your project work. So what is your role? How we analyze, how we submit. So that's why this paper is right produced for all the science college students, how to analyze the data like now, right? So next is very important, where research process means your investigation, right? How to do, where our data analysis is entered, where our descriptive statistics is entered in your project, right? So the first and foremost, right? So here research in the sense search for scientific knowledge or getting answers to the question is a research. What is the process? But this research everyone is doing, not only those doing a PhD, right? Doctor of Philosophy in various subjects. No, your mom is also doing research at home, right? So tomorrow what type of recipe to prepare for our children? So you are also, sometimes you are calling, mom, you don't do research upon me. Well, means you are doing, you are investigating, right? You are mom to prepare a new dishes. This is a research. Okay, so in the research process, the first and foremost, if you want to do any project, right? So your job is what? First, define a problem, research problem. Define a research problem. Yeah, I decided I'm going to do this. Okay, now I am finding right drug to the COVID, coronavirus, right? The COVID, we suffered a lot. Right? My intention is to find out drug to the coronavirus without side effects. You see, at present, so many side effects are there. So my research is without side effects, I have to prepare a drug. This is my problem. Okay, so chemistry people. So for this research, all people, all discipline is involved, right? So after deciding a problem, next what? You collect the review literature. So why we gather the review literature, right? To frame a new objectives. Okay, so that objective, what is your main aims of a defined problem? My main aim is what? I want to prepare, I want to find a new drug to the coronavirus without side effects. This is my main aim, right? But how can you fix this main aim? Based on the review literature. Review literature in the sense what? At present, we are facing so many problems after COVID. That means what? Post-COVID symptoms are very high. Just you ask to anybody who suffered COVID, you ask them, at present they are suffering so many health issues. And also due to vaccination also people are suffering. Okay, so based on these findings, right, based on the review literature I found, right, that is what you have to frame the testing of hypothesis. Testing of hypothesis in the sense you are framing a statement of your problem, right? So based on the statement of your problem, you're finding, right? So how you finding the statements or objectives or your aim based on the review literature. Review literature in the sense previous findings, right? Based on the previous findings, you are framing your new problems. That is, we call it as a testing of hypothesis. After framing your objectives, the next thing is planning a sample. Okay, the sampling design. So in the next class, right? I think so. Tomorrow one of our lecture is explaining sampling techniques, sampling design, right? So in your investigation, you are going to do either census or sample surveys. You see, before I explained sample and census surveys and sample surveys. Census in the sense, each and every person's information you gather and analyze, but it takes time and budget is also increasing. That's why you go for sampling techniques, right? So, but in the sampling, after deciding the sampling, right, next you gather the data. This is the process, this is a systematic way to complete your project work. Okay, so sometimes the people, without knowing their objectives, their title, simply they are gathering the data based on the past projects. No, supposed to do a research or a project, you have to follow these steps, scientific steps, right? So, but this data is how you gather the data, at what base? Based on your aim. Based on your aim or you are gathering the data, right? Again, here the gathering the data means primary data, secondary data. This lecture is also completed. Professor Tirupati Rao, Pondicherry Central University, he explained types of a data, primary data and secondary data. After gathering this data, right, next processing and analyzing the data. So my lectures are all related to this, processing, analyzing the data, right? So this processing and analyzing the data, this process is depending on what, right? After you gather the, so you are gathering data. Which type of data you are gathering? Nominal, qualitative and quantitative data. Qualitative and quantitative data, like nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio type of data you are gathering. So if you want to process the data, what kind of statistical tools and techniques you are going to apply? Right? After applying statistical tools, descriptive statistics and inferential statistics, right, is to go for conclusions. Right? These conclusions based on your aim, your objectives. These objectives, how you frame, right? Based on your research problem, your project, right? So after conclusion, right, the next is report writing. Report writing. This is very, very, very important. After getting the result, how to write a report. So this research process means your research methodology course, the entire syllabus is covered in this frame, right? How to define a research problem, right? So our registrar Krishna Mohan is explained the research definition and price, whatever it is, right? The next speaker, MVR Raju, psychology professor, is also explained research design. Right? So in the next, we are going to explain testing of hypothesis, plan sample surveys and census surveys. Myself is explained. Collecting, gathering the data, Professor Tirupati Rao is explained. Right? The processing analysis of data, remaining speakers is explaining to you. So this is a research process, how to do your project work, a systematic way. If you apply, your results is also gives a good result. So whatever you, but only based on course curriculum you are doing the project. No, whatever your findings, you publish it. Right? You publish in the newspaper, publish in any magazine. Right? In our Andhra University is also publishing every week. AU looks. Right? If your results are very helpful to the society, or helpful to the people, or helpful to the other departments, you can publish your work. Right? That credit goes to you. You don't write a or prepare your project work for only academic, only for marks. Right? You may think in this way. Right? Then only the people may use your project work. Right? So this is simply a research process. So after that, the data again, the data is categorized into two things, qualitative and quantitative data types. If you want to analyze qualitative in the sense, no measure. For example, you see beauty. How much beauty is there? Is there any measure? Is there any, right, 1 kg, 2 kg of beauty? No. Okay. IQ. He is an intelligent person. Intelligent in the sense what? He is the most intelligent person. We call it as like that. But there is no any 1 inch, 2 inch intelligence. So there is no measurement of qualitative data. For that type of data, which type of statistical tools and techniques we are going to apply? So for quantitative data, right? Quantitative in the sense, see, measured. Liquids is measured in liters, isn't it? Suppose some items, raw data items is measured in some kilos, height is measured, weight is measured, right? So for that type of data, what type of statistical tools and techniques we are going to apply? Okay, so that is what. Right? So what is the role of the data analysis? We are going to analyze the data. What is your roles and responsibilities? The main thing is draw conclusions and understanding more about the sources of our data is the goal of statistical analysis. Only the drawing conclusions, right? The final, you are writing in the thesis, results and discussions. In that results and discussions, it will helps the data analysis part. The role of data analysis main is data analyst is examining data. Okay, so your data is relevant or not, you have to examine. The other one is preparation of tables, graphic display of information. Okay, then estimating the unknown, establishing functional relationship between cause and effect, computing the growth rates, understanding the trends and making forecasts, regression, pattern analysis, cluster analysis, and many more. And preparing a document stating the methodology and interpreting the results, right? So this is the findings. The next thing is, what are the key consideration in data analysis? If you want to analyze the data, what is the key consideration? The key consideration first and foremost is components of a data analysis plan. What are the components we are going to apply? Another one is what? Distinguishing data types. As a researcher, as an analyst, distinguish. Data types is a nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio, distinguished. After distinguishing different types of analysis. So univariate, bivariate, multivariate. Which type of analysis you are going to apply in your project work? So overview of different statistical software. For analysis, generally in the statistical data analysis, we have Excel is enough for your project work, for data analysis. Right? So more sophisticated packages, SPSS is there, statistical package for social sciences. You can apply this. Or programming for data analysis, Python, MATLAB, Minitab. So many softwares are there to analyze the data. Next, identify the purpose of the analysis or project. This is very, very, very important, right? So you are doing a group project, right? Generally, in the group, 1 or 2 members are involving more. Many people just simply they are attending and submitting their research project. No. So you have to, each and every group member, you have to identify the purpose of the analysis or a project. Then understand the samples under study. Then understand the instruments being used to collect data. And establish a unique identifier if matching or merging is necessary. Right? So these are all key consideration in data analysis. So in the descriptive statistics, right? Before starting off, measure of tendency, measure of dispersion, measure of shapes. So first and foremost, we should know the measurement and scaling techniques. These points are important, right? So the data analysis are of univariate, bivariate, and multivariate. Univariate means only single variable analysis. I am concentrating only one variable. But for project work, one variable, it won't sufficient to analyze the data. At least 2 variable information. For example, you see fish culture, the growing of fishes in different ponds, fresh water, right, salt water or plain water. I want to study only height of a fish is not useful information. You have to study the weight of a fish also. And also you have to study the length, width, height, width. These variables is also important. That's why univariate, bivariate, multivariate analysis is important. Univariate is only one variable, two variable, more than two variables. Right? So the analysis are of three types. Right. Now you see, for univariate our statistical applications, for bivariate our statistical applications, for multivariate our statistical applications. I given only limited applications due to space restriction. See, so these are all some statistical applications. Right? So in the next class, right, I will discuss descriptive statistics in detail. Now just I am showing 1 or 2 minutes, 1 minute a case study. Now you see a survey on health insurance. The general common case study I am taking. This is one project, right? In a survey of health insurance. Then you see the survey on health insurance. What is what? The main purpose is what? A new health insurance scheme is introduced by a company for its employees. For employees, when a new scheme is introduced. Right? So the management wishes to know the reaction of its employees to the new scheme. If you introduce a new scheme, what is the reaction of the employees? So opinions were collected from 50 employees on several aspects, like you see, right? 50 respondents, the sample size is 50. They collected, right? The variables are, you see, what is your age, gender, marital status, education level, present health checkup, monthly income, right? So concept rating. So these variables are there gathering in this survey, in this project. But how we analyze? You see, if age is there, how they taken as? So age initially no coding. Age, direct age they are taking 20, 21, 22, like that. So later you can convert it into 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 35 to 40, like that. The gender, male, female, marital status, married, single, income, right? Like this. Next, you see in this survey, education, right? So below higher secondary, right? Higher secondary, graduation, graduation, present arrangements, health checkup arrangement, they are doing private or government or partial or full reimbursement. Right? Now, you see. Okay. So this is a case study and how we gather the data. This is simply a descriptive statistics, the basics, the background I explained. Right? In the next class, right? In the analysis part, I am going to introduce Microsoft Excel and R, not R, Microsoft Excel and SPSS package. Right? At the time of that, I will explain in detail measurement of standard tendency, measurement of dispersion, measurement of shapes, few statistical tools and techniques, how to perform in Microsoft Excel. Right. Now, the time for discussions. Right. So, dear students, if any regarding this, I am ready to give, right, your questions to answers. Yeah, any discussions? Or may I close? Feel free to ask. Okay. Thank you. Right, I am closing my session and stopping. session. Just close the session.
Okay, sir.
But save the data recording.